Hello and welcome back to another Combos episode on the channel. My name is Luke Triton and today we are covering the Accutrooper. This is the latest reskin of the ever-loved Alpha Trooper, and it has more tactical potential than it has in the past. It has always had a stock attachment point, it has always had one rail, but this version has a barrel attachment point, which is very exciting because combos can now be much better with this version. Now we have the three traditional classes of heavy, close quarters and long range to get through, my personal combo and one gimmick combo for this episode. This is my heavy combo. So this is very long and it's also not quite accurate. With some of the heavy combos it's more just an aggressive take on the heavy combo rather than it being a heavy gunner sort of thing. So what we have is the spike tooth barrel that came with the nail biter or zoom and doom kit, the chop stock on the back which is sold on its own, and the stampede shield for some protection. Holding it like this is a bit weird whilst you got this part of the chop stock rubbing against your chin. It's not the most uncomfortable thing ever when you're looking down sights. You're not really looking down sights anyway because all you're really looking through is this gate section on the stampede shield. Magazine of choice is the largest magazine possible. I have yet to get myself a Titan CS50, so I'm using the Raider drum for now. But all in all, this is very odd, but something that I can definitely see myself using in the future. Very aggressive, and because of how long this barrel is, I can make it just a little bit longer to poke my enemies as I'm getting towards them. Rapid rate of fire because this is a slam fire blaster. All in all, let me try and get this in the screen. There we go. This is my heavy combo. Next up is close quarters. This is very close quarters for where you put your hands, but I still think this is viable nonetheless. Now with the barrel attachment point, we are always going to be taking advantage of that, and that is the stealth barrel that comes in a modular stealth kit. The optic of choice is the flip sight that originally came with the long strike, but was re-released in the Ultimate Customizer kit. And I'm going with this because some of the optics are kind of awkward to look down, but with how close my face is to this main section of the blaster, as I'm looking down sights, it's just so perfectly positioned. Something like the red dot sight, not so much. I have to look up a little bit. Something like other optics, it's just having to position it in such a weird way. But with how this one works in particular for this sort of combo, I think works, again, just perfectly. As for the stock, I'm going for something a bit odd. I'm using the Modulus magazine holder stock that comes with the Modulus ECS10. I'm not using the regulator one for the following reason. I just put that on and it's much sturdier, it works just the same, it holds a magazine. But it was a nightmare to take off. It was unbelievably stiff. I don't know if that's just the ones that I'm using that aren't really that compatible, or if that's a global thing. If that's the case, that's a problem, and you're going to have to resort to this if you want to go ahead with this. But yeah, just something to point out. I think because this is a slamfire enabled blaster, you can get rounds out fairly quickly, and using drums is something that's, again, I personally prefer, but something I think is much better to consider for a blaster like this. If you're much more careful with how you fire your weapons, if you're not going to get a whole drum's worth in about 10 seconds, then obviously you don't need to worry about this, but that's where this stock also comes in, just holding another drum at the ready. But this is my close quarters combo. And the last of the three traditional classes is, of course, long range. Look at this. This looks amazing. This is one of the coolest looking combos I've ever built. It looks like a Dragunov sniper rifle. It also reminds me of the handheld rifle, or the, what's it called? Handmade? Yeah, I think it's called handmade rifles from Fallout 4 and 76. The overall look though, I mean, come on, that's pretty cool. So, starting up at the front, this is the barrel attachment that is from the Fortnite SPL handgun. Had to think for a moment there. This isn't something I use for many combos. This is probably the second or third time I've used this. It's just its own unique shape, and for something like this, it fits. Also, the colour, it being yellow, not really something that matters too much for this look overall, but it's a good barrel. There's no reason not to use this. It's just not a preference of mine, but for here and now, it looks amazing. This is the long range scope that comes with the Modulus long range kit. It is a very good scope. And in combination with the stock that comes with the Accutrooper, when I go to aim down sights, it's spotless. It's absolutely perfect. I don't need to move my head into any uncomfortable position. When I go to put my cheek on the stock and look down the scope, it's just perfectly positioned. and that really helps with the fact that this is a very cool looking combo. The magazine of choice is the 10 Dart Banana Mag. I will never ever use the 6 Dart magazines. Why would you ever use them? I suppose for more sniper related reasons, but with larger magazines, why would you ever use a 6 Dart mag? All in all, this is again one of the coolest looking combos I've ever built, and this is my long range combo. And now we move on to my personal combo. This looks like long range, but this is more for close quarters. So at the front, taking advantage of the barrel attachment points, I am using the Spectre barrel. It's a nice looking barrel. The inner diameter is wider than other barrels, so it shouldn't really negatively affect my performance in any way. And again, it's just for the sake of having something on here. This is one of my go-to barrels. I love it very much. Speaking of attachments I love very much, I got this Vortex scope recently, and I've been using it on a number of different blasters, and this is one of them. It lights up, and again, like I mentioned with the long range combo, when I go to look down range, it is just perfectly positioned, especially with the stock that I'm using, which is the Raider stock. It can be positioned in any number of ways, but I'm going to keep it in its maximum extended position. This is very comfortable indeed. This is a bit bare bones when you kind of look at it in a way. It's only 3 attachments, but then again, that's 3 attachments. It doesn't need to be anything more than this. I love this a lot. This is my personal combo. Now, in the OG N-Strike days, when you had a Nerf war with your friends, if you weren't allowed to borrow your friend's Stampede, or if you didn't have one of your own, you were going with the original Accutrooper. And this is what you would try and set it up to look like. So this is quite bare bones. There's no barrel attachment because the original Accutrooper and all the ones leading up to this one didn't have a barrel attachment point, so nothing going on there. The magazine in question, you want to try and get the biggest one you can, which is the 35 Dart drum that came with the Raider. If your friend had the Stampede, he wasn't allowed the shield, so that is up there. Otherwise you replace that with the Recon flip sight or the old N-Strike scope. And as for the stock, nobody's going to use the Recon, so nobody's going to really use this stock. It holds a 6 Dart magazine, 6 extra shots, ready to go. So yes, things really were this awkward back in the day, but that's how it was back in the day. It is nostalgic in its own way. It's very clunky, very stupid. It kind of shows its age as well. But this is for nostalgia's sake. So there we have it. That is the end of the combos episode for the Accutrooper. That is the last of the 3 blasters that I acquired recently. There are going to be plenty more Nerf videos coming out in the future. Plenty more blasters I'm going to be getting my hands on. Therefore that means more reviews, more combos, and more Nerf related episodes in the future as well. Thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.